Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Building a Nation with Team Canada. And in today's episode, we're going to take a look at the other side of the coin. We're going to take a look at Vancouver, see how the Whitecaps are doing this season in MLS. Take a look at the competitions, and as you can see, since last time we did an update, we're at the mid-season point now. The transfer window's just about to start, so we might make some moves there. But I don't know that we need to, because you look at our position right now, and it's pretty good. We're sitting in 7th place after 22 games. Got 10 wins, 4 draws, 8 losses. -1 goal differential is not good. But we do have 34 points, which puts us solidly in the top half of the Western Conference. If you look at Sporting Kansas City, right below us, they've got 27 points, and they've played 25 games. So we've really separated ourselves from the second half, really, of the Western Conference. I mean, 7 points up on a team with 3 games in hand as well. That's a pretty big margin for Sporting KC or any of the teams below them to catch us up. Certainly, Colorado has no shot. They've got 11 points on the season. They are terrible this year. Now, as far as the Supporters' Shield go, 13th is pretty much where we want to be. We want to be mid-table. The board has similar confidence in us right now, 68%. So they feel we're on track, and it looks like we're on track at 13th place. 24 teams, just about mid-table, depending on how you define mid-table, I guess. Is it 12 and above? I don't know, probably. Anyway, we're doing okay in all of our competitions right now. Now, if you look at the schedule here, we've gone on a very good run, and that's really what has propelled us up the table. You look at the last 2 months, we've got 1 loss in the last 2 months. That came to New England, 2-1. We've had a lot of 2-1 results recently, including 2-1 over Sporting KC, 2-1 over Orlando City. That was an interesting one. Godoy gets a goal. Tolosa. We got scored on by Tesho Akan Daley, Canadian. So that's fine. I guess we get scored on by this guy. I don't know that he's ever going to make the national team, but he's in the mix. He's in the running. He's got pace. He's got some nice physicals. He needs to just keep improving. You look at our scouts don't rate him really in terms of potential ability. Our scouts say that he's probably maxed out. But if he keeps getting appearances, if he keeps playing well for Orlando, he's got some reserve potential here. He could possibly get up to 4.5, 3.5. And that's kind of the marginal player that we want. Like 3.5 should be sort of reserve player, or, sometimes starter for the national team. So, depending on his abilities and, the depth at his position. So Akan Daley is a guy that we got on our radar. He's valued at $1.6 million right now, so it's not like he's not a good player. It's just he might not be an international quality. He does have 12 appearances for the national team, so, he's been up before. It's not like he's terrible. But anyway, he did score a goal against us. So, that's fine, I guess, especially since we won the game. We also managed to beat Portland 2-1, which is a big result because they're in the Western Conference. They're one of those teams that are vying with us. They had an own goal. And then Venuto scored. And Tomas Konechny? Sure. He scored against us. A young striker for Portland. We can take a look at the goals, break up the scenery a little bit, and see how we scored these goals. It's been a while. I've taken a break from FM since I recorded a slew of episodes just so I could take some time off. And so I've kind of forgotten everything that happened here. This is probably the own goal here. Williams sends one out wide to PC, and there it is. Yeah. Ardiaz makes the run, but then Diaz scores. He gets his foot in there and he can't deflect it wide, deflects it into his own goal. But now here Diaz is making it back. Great pass forward. And Konechny scores to even it up in the 62nd minute. But then here we are, 83rd minute. Godoy centers to Williams. Venuto wide open. That's just, their left back just kind of decided not to mark him. And he was wide open for that winning goal. So there we go. We put some more distance between us and Portland. Any of these Western Conference wins are big for us. Now you can see on the competitions what we have coming up. We have the Canadian Championship coming up versus Montreal. And we'll get to that. We'll take a look at Montreal, take a look at their prospects and stuff like that. But speaking of prospects, we've got our own to look at. The Whitecaps Academy is getting, thinner and thinner every day. Now, luckily, none of these guys are currently wanted by international teams, so we don't have to worry about that right now. We do have Darren Lucic, 16 years old. He's one of the best right backs in terms of youth currently in the nation, so we got to keep an eye on him. He's not really improving right now in our academy, so we got to worry about that a little. He is 2 stars, and in my opinion, in my experience, 2 stars is sort of the maximum that players reach in academies. So we're going to have to get him out of there probably next year. I don't know that we have room on the roster for him this year, but we got to get him out of there at some point. The other guys got a little room to grow. They got 1.5 stars. Stankovic on the left-hand side is probably our best physical prospect. 14 pace, 14 acceleration. But again, we're not seeing a ton of improvement from our academy. So we got to worry about that for sure. Finances, we're fine. $22 million in the bank. We're very much just cruising at the moment. Board, you saw, they were happy with our position, so we're very secure. No problems there. What are we at here? 67%. That's outstanding. Considering where we were at the quarter season mark, we were like below 50%. So now to be almost at 70%, we're looking pretty good. Club-wise, our position is fine. Of course, our starting 11, not really a lot to look at here. Now, we do have some of our youngsters on the squad to look at. Sort here by age. Again, we're really concerned about these youngsters because these guys are the future of Team Canada. So Darren Senior's got a few games. Not a lot of games, but he's only 15 years old. That's fine. He's the guy we're training up at right wing. He's improving some. Hasn't really, hasn't really broken through or anything like that. Diego Hendricks, guy we're training at left wing. He's improving his determination. His mental attributes are going up. I'd like him to be improving on his technicals much more than he is. He does have 15 finishing and 10 composure, but not really. These guys aren't getting game time, but at this age, I don't know that they need game time. They just need a proper training regimen. Now, I've been messing around with the training regimen. I've been looking online at different things. I've started a spreadsheet. You're serious in FM when you start a spreadsheet to start tracking these guys. They are only 15, 16, but we need these guys to start improving. Mario Ahmed, he's gotten significant playing time, at least earlier in the season. His improvements have leveled off, unfortunately, since his playing time has been decreased. So maybe playing time is a little bit more important than we thought. Because you look at a guy, Zlatkovic, who has taken away that playing time from Ahmed, and you look at his attributes, and they're skyrocketing. Physically, mentally, technically, he is going up and up. His marking is now up to 10. So he's starting to be like a serviceable left back. We could, next year, this guy will probably be our starter at left back. So he's really progressing. We need to get the other guys progressing. Kevin Lemire, another guy, not a ton of playing time. He's going up a little. His mentals are going up. Determination on all these guys is getting pretty good because they're in a very good group. They're a very good mentorship group. So we got a lot of determined older veterans on the team, and they are helping these guys with their determination. His is up to a 7 already. Simon Collin, a guy, a 17-year-old, a guy we brought up from the academy last year during sort of the transitional period. He's also leveled off a little bit with his training, so we've got to kick him into gear. His brother's out on loan. Mark Collins, 17 years old. He's out at the Richmond Kickers down in, what is that? Is that, I don't know, that's one of the American leagues. But anyway, he's USL. It's USL 2, I think. But anyway, he's also just sort of getting a little better. He's not getting any worse, but we need him to improve greatly. He's only 1 star currently, so he's not really MLS quality. Dave Berg, an interesting cat. We need this guy to get better. He's 18, so he's one of our oldest prospects on the team. He's got significant playing time. You see, he's 90% match fit. And Team Canada doesn't have a ton of defensive players in this age group in general. We need all the defenders we can get. So we need Dave Berg to improve. He's a tweener. I don't really know exactly where his best position is at the moment. We need central defenders. He can play central defense, but he's only 6 foot tall. His physicals aren't great as far as central defenders go. He's probably a little bit better at right back, and we need depth at right back as well. So that's probably where he's going to play, just because his central defense, it's just not great, in terms of heading and jumping and strength and all that stuff. It's just not good enough. Even at 18 years old, he should be much bigger and stronger than this if he's going to be a central defender. He could also play defensive midfielder, but we don't really need him at defensive midfielder. He's not really fast enough. He's not really technical enough to play the kind of defensive midfield role that we like to play. So his future is probably at right back, defensive right back. And we have some other guys out on loan. We haven't really looked at these guys much, and we probably won't at the moment because I don't really know what we're going to do with these guys. Pat Condell, another back, another left/right back. Physically is very good, but he's looking his training. I sent this guy out to Canadian Premier League, and they're letting me down here. So he's getting worse, so we're probably going to have to bring him back and do something with him. He's only 18 years old. But he's not really going to beat out any of our 17 and 16-year-olds. So we got to figure out, maybe this is a guy we can sell him off to somebody who's going to start him, and he can do his career that way. I don't know. We'll have to worry about him. Michael Baldissimo, this is a guy, or Baldissimo, this guy I'm thinking about bringing back. He's on loan to Seattle too. Also not improving very much. His determination is going down. He's a guy, a midfielder. We need all the midfielders we can get. He can play central or defensive midfielder. So if he's not improving and he's out on loan, got to bring him back and try to get some use out of him. Same with Kunla Dadaluk. He's out again to Edmonton. He's, marginally improving, but technically he's sliding. He's not really, I don't know what's the word. He's not terrible right now, but we need him to improve more. I think the season for Canadian Premier League has just started. So he's going to start getting some games now, and we'll give him a few games and see how he improves. Theo Blair, this is a guy that we really need him to improve. He's going to come back to us next year, and he's going to be probably in the starting lineup for us. We're going to either run 2 strikers, or we're just going to let this guy be our main striker. He's physically the kind of guy we want. He's humongous, 6'5", 218 pounds, strength, jumping reach, pace, agility, all that stuff that we want. This guy has it. So next year he's going to be one of our starters. Right now He's on to Birmingham. You know, their season has just started as well, so we'll see how he works out. And some of the guys on the team, Adonijah Reed, 19 years old, hasn't got a lot of playing time. We need to get him some more playing time. We need a lot of these guys to get more playing time. And that sort of brings us to today's matchups, where we're going to be going against Montreal in the Canadian Championship. So we're going to we're going to send that assistant. Here we are. We're back with the Canadian Championship ready to go. So we got Ottawa Fury versus Toronto FC, Vancouver versus Montreal. So the way it works with the Canadian Championship is basically you have the 3 MLS clubs automatically make it to this stage, and then everybody else in Canada plays off for the one spot in the semifinals to play against those 3 teams. So it's not impossible for a lower division Canadian team to make it through the Canadian Championship. It's just not very likely, because once they get here, they got to play an MLS club, and it's usually lights out. So we'll get to our match preview. Going to play Montreal. Take a look at these guys. Now, they've got some guys to take a look at and maybe some guys to not take a look at. So they've got Jaguar. He's already playing with this for the national team. We need him to improve. We need him to get better, because right now he's our starting central defender. 21 years old. He's not really the greatest player, not really the kind of guy we want at central defense, but he's the best. He's the best we got. He's got, strong mentals, strong technicals, just not that strong physically. He's only 2.5 stars, so he just needs to get better. Then they've got some other guys that we're just not really going to worry about. Chonier is a guy who, in real MLS, he's making some waves. He's getting some starts. He's getting some playing time. They're taking a serious look at this kid. Here in FM, he's no good. I'm not using this guy at all. 2 stars, only 3-star potential. I mean, he could get up maybe to 4.5 stars. If he gets up there, then we'll talk. But right now, his physicals are just so bad that we just can't deal with this guy. He's got nice vision and decision making. He could be a playmaker for us, but he's only got 10 passing. He's just not right. His stats or his attributes are just not right. Let's see. Daniel Kinumbe, unhappy, left back. Again, not that great physically. 14 tackling is nice. It's pretty good. But 7 jumping reach, 7 strength, 9 pace, not that interested. So, Shamit Shom's a guy I thought about bringing up. He's got some potential, 4-star potential. His physicals are decent, determination good. He's a guy, he's on the edge. He's a guy we could definitely bring up at that attacking playmaker role. We need more attacking playmakers. So he's a guy, he's got 4 caps. He'll probably get a few more. Pantami, goalkeeper. He's got 2 caps, 22 years old. We tried him out a couple of times. Goalkeeper is a real weakness for this nation. Just not a lot of great goalkeepers. So we got to worry a little bit about, some of the other clubs around the nation maybe not producing enough prospects. But anyway, we are 6-4 favorites today, playing at BC Place. This is the first leg of a 2-leg. Montreal is in woeful form right now. No wins in their last 5 games. 4 losses and a draw. Now, in our last 5 games that we played against them, it's fairly even. 3-2. We do have the slight edge there, the 3 wins, but, the way they're playing right now, I don't know if they've really got it in them. Especially you look at Piet is suspended. They got 2 guys injured. We got Jordan Hamilton is out, who's a guy who would have played today, but maybe not. So it's 62 and breezy. Shouldn't really matter at BC Place because it's a dome, so we can just close the dome if it's not a nice day. But 62 and partly sunny, that's a pretty fine day. Maybe we'll open the dome up for that. I don't know. So here we go. We've got, you can only have 5 foreigners on the pitch at any one time. So, we've got an mostly Canadian lineup in there. We've got Nelson, Ahmed, Nerwinski, Flores, Yordi Reyna, Darren Sr., and Diego Hendricks on the bench. So a lot of guys who haven't played very much on the bench and, honestly, in the starting lineup. You look at all these guys are lacking match sharpness. So we got a little bit of issues here. This is the one problem, is that as bad as Montreal has been playing recently, they are playing a pretty formidable lineup. So we're going to, we might not win this one. They've got pretty much their starting lineup. Evan Bush in goal, a guy who could play for Team Canada. He's got no caps for Team USA. But, he's not going to beat out Borjan for our starting goalkeeper. So, maybe we could bring him up to be a reserve, but I don't think he wants to. So, they got Reytala at left back, Camacho, Diallo, very good central defender, Petrasso, a guy who's been on the Canadian national team, 5 assists, very versatile player. Cabrera in the midfield is a very good player. Danilo Perez, also a good player, 3 goals on the season from a defensive midfield position. Teder is a very good player. He plays internationally, I believe, for Egypt. Nacho Piatti, of course, the captain, leading goal scorer with 9 goals on the season. He is tearing it up, 7.04 rating. They got the youngster here, Oquan. Let's see if we can pronounce this. Oquanquo? Orgy? I don't know. 4 goals, 2 assists on the season, 19 appearances. So they're playing the youngster. That's definitely good. And then Maxi Urruti up top. It's interesting. I'm listening to the CBC broadcast. We'll go to the dressing room. And they call him Urruti up there in Canada. So I don't know which is correct, because in Dallas they called him Urruti. So maybe that's just Canadian versus American accents. Or maybe he's finally come out and said, hey, I'd like you to pronounce my name with a U sound instead of an oo sound. But I don't know. Don't know. We'll get to the tunnel talk. Send assistant. Get out of here. Not a great crowd on hand. A little, some empty seats going on here. What I've noticed in BC Place, because I think theoretically it could hold like 50,000. What they do is they sort of wall off the top row, or the top sections. And they do it with these cool, drapes. They've got these big, almost like sails from a ship that come out and over the pitch and really cover, they sort of block out the top seats so you can't see all the empty seats, and they make it look like a really much more enclosed place. And it's really interesting, this whole stadium, how they use all these different, basically it looks like rigging from a ship. And what's funny is that I used to watch a lot of old historical programs, like on the History Channel and things like that. And they had this one called Building an Empire. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they talked all about the Romans and how they built their empire. And one of the things they mentioned was in the Colosseum, they would use rigging from ships, from sails, from sailing ships. And they would use that to basically create a dome-like feature for their Colosseums. It's pretty interesting to see that technology make a comeback. What happens here? T-Bert gets a foul, and Nacho Piatti, that's a cheap one. He's going to get a penalty kick. And he scores right over top of the keeper. That's no good. So we've given away a cheap one. I didn't even go over our lineup, did I? No. That's probably not good. I was too busy talking about Roman history. But anyway, there's Nacho scoring. Get out of here. So I guess we can look at our lineup real quick. So we do have McMath in goal. Berg, that young defender I was talking about, we do have him out at right fullback. Godoy and Henry. So it's basically our starting central defense. Zlatkovic, the 16-year-old left back. We got him playing out there. T-Bert and Joe Williams, again, mostly are starting midfield because we're very thin at midfield. Then the attack is where we've made most of our substitutions. Adonijah Reed out on the right-hand side. You know, we need him just to get more playing time, basically. And hopefully he can get fit during this competition, and that'll help him out. Colin, Raheem Edwards, and then Kevin Lemire, one of our other 16-year-olds up top. So it's not a very experienced attack that we're dealing with here. Could be problems, especially down a goal. But we shall see. Match stats, not looking too good. Observation. Our short passes are connecting well. We should encourage our players to play a short passing play. Okay. How are we doing? We're doing standard. Guess we could go shorter. We've got 65% possession as it is, but only one shot. So we need to get a few more shots on target here, boys. And there's the half. Yikes. Look out. Yeah. Let's take a look at our tactics. That's not what I want. Tactics? No, we can't do tactics from here, I guess. Review. Why can't we do tactics? That's weird. Okay, pep talk. Get out of here. We'll do tactics in the middle of the half as usual, I suppose. So, all right, we're going to go attacking. Let's go. We need to get that goal back, and there's no time like the present, especially with the way the clock is just rolling. Here's Nacho. Sending one in. Henry heads it out. T-Bert, can he start the counterattack? He's got a yellow. He bangs it forward. Oh, it's a mess up on the back line. Lemire, the youngster. Oh, sends it just wide. Come on. Come on, buddy. You can do better than that. Hit that off his outside of his foot. Should have hit it on the inside, curled it in. I don't know. Anyway, we got another shot, so we got 3 shots now. 63% possession, and we can't get a shot on target. That's showing our youth there. We got a lot of yellow cards currently. How's our ratings looking? 60 minutes down. Here we go. T-Bert sends one in on the free kick. Petrasso heads it straight to Henry. Henry's ball is deflected. Berg's going to chase it down. Are we going to continue this highlight? Is this going to be one of those big, long highlights? Looks that way. Berg drops it back to McMath. Probably just going to boot it. Yep. Let's go. Henry wins it down. Great play at midfield by Henry. And now we're going to work it forward. Outside to Adonijah Reed. Sends one across. Wow, great play by the 2 youngsters to even it up. Outstanding, Lemire. Cool and calm in front of goal. First goal of the season, assist by Reed. That's what we want to see. We want to see these young Canadian players out there playing well. Great cross, just perfect. And then Lemire finishes with ease and confidence. All right, we've evened it up. They do have an away goal. Let's not let them get 2. Piatti sends one in. Great save by McMath. T-Bert knocks it out. They're going to get a corner. Piatti on the far side. Sends it in. Diallo heads it over. Yikes. Yikes. All right, how are our ratings looking now? Collins not looking so hot at 6.5. Let's make the sub here. We do have Jordi Reyna on the bench. We might as well use him. Bring him in for Colin, who's not looking great right now. T-Bert. I mean, we could bring in Flores. A guy who just came back from loan, I believe, for whatever reason. You know, we'll put him in there. Why not? All right. So we made our 2 subs. Got rid of 1 yellow card. We got 3 yellow cards on defense right now. But I don't know that I really want to sub anybody out. 9 shots since we've gone attacking. 4 on target. Getting shots on goal, but they're coming from too far out. That's fine, I guess. Lemire has shot up to a 7.0 rating. Same with Reed. Yordi Reyna's come in with a 6.7, so he's already improved our play in the midfield a little bit. 88 minutes. Looks like we're probably going to go to Montreal with a 1-1 draw. Flores. That's no good. Comes in, gets injured. What are you doing to me, buddy? What are you doing to me? So, we know that Berg can be retrained as a defensive midfielder. Whether he can play there is another question altogether. Yeah, we don't really have much other choice. So, Berg going up there, and then that lets us bring Nowinski in on the right-hand side. Berg, I don't think we need you playing Segundo Volante, though. Okay. Let's just have you be Anchorman. Yeah, we'll see if we can get through the last minute and a half with Berg at defensive midfield. So that injury could be very significant. If he's out for the rest of the season, or just a significant amount of time, probably throw him on the injury list and then bring one of our other guys back from loan, I think would be the play there. You know, to just sort of maximize our MLS rules and our MLS roster. So, 1-1 draw. Not the worst thing that ever happened, but that was the home. So, Flores, 11 days to 2 weeks. That's not really long enough, unfortunately, to put him on. I actually kind of hope that he would have got injured for longer. You know, bad to say that, but let's see. Berg's progress at right back. Yeah. He's fine. Okay, so we're going to pause it here, get to the second leg, and try to finish out this part of Canadian Championship, see if we can move on. So, hang on.